You have refused to take part in the lone debate with Kari Lake, giving her 30 minutes to present her ideas without any pushback. You've said you don't want to participate in a spectacle, but how is it productive to give her a platform where she will not be challenged?
Well, I think you said it yourself in the intro that that all three top Republicans are election deniers. How do you debate someone who refuses to accept the truth, who doesn't live in facts? And it doesn't do any service to the voters in terms of deciding, looking at the contrast between us and how we're going to govern if all she's going to do is shout over me, interrupt me, and spew lies.
Katie, I'm speaking directly to you. You claim to care about the people of Arizona. Prove it. Debate me. You name the time and you name the place. And to make things even easier for you, I will allow you to choose the moderator. Hell, I'll even let you write the questions. Seriously, your consultants can write every single question. Ask me anything. This is your opportunity to prove to the people of Arizona that you actually have a tiny sliver of respect for them. I'm making it unbelievably easy for you. Think really hard before you turn down this chance. I don't think you'll do it. I think you are a coward.
And in fact, PBS is also giving me the same format that Kari Lake has.
Because the people of Arizona will never support and vote for a coward like Katie Hobbs, who won't show up on a debate stage. She's single-handedly destroying a 20-year tradition of gubernatorial debates because of her cowardice.
I'm not going to back down.
This is CNN, home of fake news.
More than 3 weeks before Election Day, we're going to focus on two key midterm races and talk to the candidates on both sides who will help determine how the United States is run. We're going to start in Arizona, where the battle for the governor's mansion is neck and neck. And both Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs and the Republican nominee, former television broadcaster and fierce Trump ally Kari Lake.
Hillary Clinton believes that issues that affect women's lives are not just women's issues. They are family issues, they are economic issues, and they are crucial to our future competitiveness.
Joining us now is Katie Hobbs, currently Arizona's Democratic Secretary of State and now running for governor against Republican, former Fox News anchorwoman, Trump candidate Kari Lake.
Kari Lake worked for Fox 10 in Arizona, not the Fox News Corporation. Can the liberal media tell the truth about anything? Anything? And how come they don't say Katie Hobbs is the Hillary Clinton candidate? She actually worked for the Hillary Clinton campaign.
And now running for governor against Republican, former Fox News anchorwoman, Trump candidate Kari Lake.
Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs and the Republican nominee, former television broadcaster and fierce Trump ally Kari Lake. Ms. Lake, I'm going to start with you, and I want to start on the question that everybody says is their top issue across the country, and that is the economy. Inflation is still near its highest levels in 4 decades. Inflation is still near its highest levels in 4 decades.
Hold it now, wait, hold it. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Lady, you understand I'm in my hold it now. Hold it now.
Inflation is still near its highest levels in 4 decades.
But I want to move on. What happened in 2020? You called the 2020 election corrupt, stolen, rotten, and rigged. And there was no evidence of any of that presented in a court of law or anywhere else, that any of those things are true. Why do you keep saying that?
Well, there's plenty of evidence. We had 740,000 ballots with no chain of custody. Those ballots shouldn't have been counted. We had election laws.
Where is the evidence of that?
Dana, there's plenty of evidence. You can find it. I'm happy to send it to your team. The problem is the media won't cover it. And
we've covered this extensively, and what you just said has been debunked.
Only one side of it, Dana. The real issue, Dana, is that the people don't trust our elections. They haven't since 2000. I'm a reporter. 2004, they didn't trust the elections. In 2016, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, and Hillary Clinton, everybody on the Democrat side said the election had problems.
Ms. Lake, there definitely
sorry,
has been some of that, but I want to say in 2000, Al Gore conceded. In 2000, Al Gore conceded. In 2004, John Kerry conceded. In 2016, Hillary Clinton conceded.
So we're not going to have anything more to say tonight. Everybody should head home. You should get some sleep.
When Republican candidates for office claim an election is stolen or that the winner is illegitimate, it constitutes inciting an insurrection. But Democratic Party candidates for public elective office are perfectly entitled to claim the election was stolen or that the winner is illegitimate or to make any other outrageous claim they can. It is their absolute right to do so.
Without voter suppression, Stacey Abrams would be the governor of Georgia. Andrew Gillum is the governor of Florida.
Stacey Abrams doesn't win in Georgia. They stole it. It's clear. It's clear. And I say that publicly. It's clear.
And I will not concede. There are still legitimate concerns over the integrity of our elections and of ensuring the principle of one person, one vote.
I agree with tens of millions of Americans who are very worried that when they cast the ballot on an electronic voting machine, that there is no paper trail to record that vote.
And malfunctioning electronic machines, which may not have paper receipts, have led to additional loss of confidence by the public.
We didn't see that in 2020. That's the difference. And so the question is, are you undermining faith in elections by saying that the 2020 election was stolen when there's absolutely no evidence?
If you're going to start throwing around terms like election denier, let's remember who the other election deniers were: Hillary Clinton and all the Democrats. Let's talk about election deniers. Here's 150 examples of Democrats denying election results. Oh wow, look at this. This is from Joe Biden's press secretary. Reminder, Brian Kemp stole the gubernatorial election from Georgians and Stacey Abrams. Democrats saying that. Is that an election denier? This is outrageous. Hillary Clinton. Trump is an illegitimate president. Is she an election denier? This one says, was the 2016 election legitimate? It now definitely is a question worth asking. That's the Los Angeles Times. So it's okay for Democrats to question elections, but it's not okay for Republicans.
I think his comments laid bare the intent of interfering with the elections by undermining the resources and services that the Postal Service provides. There is absolutely no merit to any claims of widespread voter fraud in Arizona. There's no evidence to back it up, and it is not something that we have experienced here. Arizona state law 16-1003 makes it a crime to knowingly delay the delivery of a ballot, and it seems really clear that that is what the president is trying to do.
Has one Arizonan, even one, complained to the Secretary of State's office or anyone else about voter fraud?
We're actually being flooded with calls and emails right now, and I haven't had a chance to look at all of them. I'm sure there are some. Yeah, to my knowledge, we don't have any specific reports of anything specific.
In 2018, Stacey Abrams never conceded. She still hasn't. I don't hear CNN calling her an election denier. We have the right, and it's protected with our First Amendment, to question our government and to question elections.
No question
about that. We still have the First Amendment.
Yep.
We still have the First Amendment. And when you start seeing the media cancel people for questioning their government, then that's when we have a problem.
I totally agree about the First Amendment. You and I are benefiting from the First Amendment as we speak. So I couldn't agree with you more on that. I want to play. I want to play for you something that President Trump's own top officials. They're the ones who investigated all of this. Again, these are President Trump's top officials. Why not believe them?
Let's look at the 2022 election of August 2nd, where 1 hour into Election Day, because of my opponent, Katie Hobbs' incompetence, we ran out of ballots 1 hour into Election Day in one of our largest counties, Pinal County.
That did happen, and the county officials there apologized.
Republican ballot.
I'm going to push back on things that didn't happen. That did happen.
Secretary of State's office should be the most nonpartisan office that we elect. The person who oversees our elections needs to be neutral and not take a side.
The person who oversees our elections needs to be neutral and not take a side.
I will work really hard to take the politics out of the Secretary of State's office and make sure that there is fairness.
We ran out of ballots 1 hour into Election Day in one of our largest counties, Pinal County.
That did happen, and the county officials there apologized.
Only Republican ballots.
I'm going to push back on things that didn't happen. That did happen, and the county officials apologized. But I want to ask about
Dana,
the 2020 elections.
An apology doesn't bring somebody's vote back. All I'm saying is we need to restore honesty and integrity and transparency to our elections.
But isn't apologizing doing just that? You're right, it doesn't bring votes back, but at least that is transparent. That is transparent. So if leaders like you and President Trump are saying that the election was stolen, aren't you participating, contributing, even causing the idea of people thinking that the election is not safe and secure?
No.
He knows he's an illegitimate president. You can run the best campaign, and you can have the election stolen from you. He knows he's an illegitimate president. He's an illegitimate president.
No, we are going to make sure our elections are safe and secure for Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike. We want to know that our legal vote counted. We want to know the winner on election night. We don't want to be counting for 10 days.
But
and we want everyone to know.
But don't you want your votes to be counted in
trail?
Don't you want your votes to be counted, no matter how long it takes in 2022 in November?
Dana, I've been on the campaign trail for 503 days. I talked to moms and dads who are losing children because of fentanyl poisoning. I talked to retirees who can't afford gas and food. I talked to parents whose children are getting out of high school and can't read. We have serious problems.
I totally agree. I totally agree, which is why the election denial.
You want to have me on here, Dana. You want to have me on here and talk 2020 election, and you're the one who accuses me.
I would never bring this up, ever, had you not been bringing this up consistently on the campaign trail. Let's look forward then.
Can we talk
Will you accept the results of the election in your election? Will you accept the results?
Can we talk about the issues? I came on here thinking we were going to talk about the issues facing Arizonans right now.
We did.
And you've spent the entirety of this time talking about 2020. I think you're stuck on 2020. I really do.
I have interviewed many Republicans and haven't even mentioned it. I only did with you because this is a big thing that you are running on. Let's look ahead,
Dana,
and let's talk about the 2022 election. Will you accept the results of your election, Ms. Lake?
I'm running against a twice convicted racist who cost the state taxpayers $3 million because of her hatred for people of color. She paid a woman of color in her office $30,000 less than men doing the same job. Last week, we learned she held a slave auction, a mock slave auction in high school. We saw her running from a black reporter, hiding in the bathroom from him.
Oh my God. How's it going? Didn't mean to scare you there. R.C. Maxwell, President Veritas Action. I just wanted to ask you a brief question about the statement that you've made. Oh, you spilled the soda. Are you going to clean that up or just leave that here for the business? I just wanted to ask you about the comments you made on undercover footage regarding having a disdain for discussing politics now. Do you recall that, Senator Hobbs?
You know, I'm running for governor because we have to stand up to this kind of ongoing threats to our democracy.
You've been caught on camera discussing her disdain for policy. Secretary, she's going inside of a restroom. She ran. Secretary Hobbs has ran. She doesn't want to discuss policy with me.
I'm not going to back down.
I'm not going to lose this election because
I'm going to talk to Katie Hobbs. I'm going to talk to Katie Hobbs right after we're done.
Arizona will never elect a racist like Katie Hobbs.
My question is, will you accept the results of your election in November?
I'm going to win the election, and I will accept that result.
Oh! If you lose, will you accept that?
I'm going to win the election, and I will accept that result. Because the people of Arizona will never support and vote for a coward like Katie Hobbs, who won't show up on a debate stage. She's single-handedly destroying a 20-year tradition of gubernatorial debates because of her cowardice.
I'm not going to back down.
So I know already, no momentum behind her. The polls are in our favor, and we're going to win this election. I'm 100% confident of that. We have the ideas, common sense ideas that people want. And we're seeing Democrats pour over and vote for us right now. I've had many people reach out and say they're voting for us. So the Democrat Party is faltering. It's not the party of solutions. It's the party that has caused the problems that we're in
Kari
right
Lake,
now.
I really appreciate you coming on with me.
I am your voice.
A lot of these individuals are seeking asylum. They are fleeing political violence in countries like Guatemala and Honduras. Do you accept that the U.S. has a responsibility to accept those asylum seekers?
Well, the vast majority of the people coming across don't really meet the criteria for asylum. There's a lot of fraudulent asylum claims that are being made. We need to vet people coming into our country.
DHS says that less than 1% of migrants encountered at the border have a criminal record. But I want to stick on the question of asylum. Those that do meet the criteria, should they be allowed to stay in this country?
Dana, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that figure you just put out.
Just looking at the last 6 months, CBP reported that they have arrested 14,150 individuals with known criminal convictions, 321 known gang members. And we know that 23 individuals were encountered who were on the terrorist watch list.
We have 1 million gotaways. These are people who are intentionally entering this country, mainly through the Tucson sector, and we don't know what their background is. There's a reason they're trying to get in unnoticed.
The number of criminal aliens living in the United States, not in custody, not separated from society, is larger than the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Signs have begun popping up in Omaha, Nebraska, telling people it is your civic duty to report any and all illegal aliens to ICE.
It's because they have a criminal background and they are coming into this country. We know that they have tracked down terrorists. They've tracked down people wanted for murder. You can go to the Customs and Border Patrol site and you'll see we've got murderers coming in. We have people with raps, with a rape record. You name it. We've got hardened criminals coming across,
let me just tell you that this stat that I just cited comes from the Department of Homeland Security.
The border is closed. The border is secure.
Mr. Secretary, you have repeatedly lied. You've lied to Congress and you've lied to the American people when you said that the border is secure.
Stat that I just cited comes from the Department of Homeland Security, less than 1% of migrants. And I know that you're using language like rapists and criminals and so forth. What I was asking about are migrants seeking asylum. But I want to move on to another really important issue, particularly when it comes to your critical swing state of Arizona.